Hey everybody, this is Derek for the Grumpy Guy Show, talking about episode number 118. Are you renting your husband out? Recorded on Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. Tonight's topics. It's not okay unless your last name is Musk. Repeat for 24 hours. And it takes an engineer. Stick around, folks. We have a good time on this episode. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
I'm Ryan McAllister.
So, we've got a packed show tonight, and Ryan actually added something. And I may have something bonus that's not in the list in a little while. You know, if we have time. We'll see. You know, it really depends, because, with last week's holiday, you know, we missed some, so, you know, I don't want to... it's not even just that we missed some. You know, these are a couple of them. They're a little old, so you know we don't want to miss those for something that's new. You know? So, what do you say we get right into it?
What we got?
All right, so we're gonna start out talking about X, or you know, Twitter, because you know we can't just go without talking about the moron. But
what happened now?
So you know, there's a huge anti-Semitic, you know, I don't know if I want to call it craze or whatever. You know, there's just a lot of anti-Semitism going around, and you know we've said before. In this day and age, we shouldn't have anything like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So the brilliance of Elon Musk decides to promote or something, some post on X.
Oh.
Yeah, and the post is anti-Semitic.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So then, of course, all kinds of other people go nuts about the fact that he's basically promoting this. I guess I don't know.
I expect nothing less out of Elon.
Yeah, I don't know if it's called promoting or if he retweeted it or something. I don't know, but you know, he thought it was all funny and everything. And then one of the executives for Twitter or X goes on and posts and says, "We will not tolerate any of this." And then Elon comes back and, yeah, we don't tolerate this stuff. This isn't right. You shouldn't be saying that stuff. You fucking idiot! You're the one.
Dude, you're the one promoting it.
Yeah, you know. So it's okay as long as your name is Elon Musk.
As I say, not as I do.
Yeah, you know. I mean, come on. This goes back to my point before. He's just a rich guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he bought Twitter so that he could do whatever the hell he wanted to. And that's all there is to it. It's got nothing to do with anything other than he wanted to do what he wanted to do. He didn't like them saying, "Listen, you can't post that stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he had so many followers on there. He didn't want to do like Trump did and go and start over again. You know, he wanted to keep his followers, so well, I'll just buy it. I'm the richest man in the world.
Mm-hmm. I can afford it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the idiot also didn't look at things to see that, you know, not only has Twitter never made a profit, but he was overpaying for it on top of that.
Mm-hmm. $44 billion.
Yeah. I'm just like, all right, you moron. But did you hear his latest attempt to try and get money?
What now?
He's thinking of making it so that it is a paywall, so there is no free Twitter or no free X. Yeah, he's got to do something because with his stupid little post there, you know, he tried to fix things, but not until after. I think it was within 2 days, 6 out of the top 10 advertisers pulled all advertisements from Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
Yeah. You know, I'm just like, you're an idiot. You're running a business. You're not just some, random jerk on the internet. You own the company. You can't just go doing shit like that.
Exactly.
But, I'm just like, come on. But
freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences.
Yeah, I mean, the government can't do anything about it because it is a private company, as I've stated before. It's a private company, just like Facebook. The government can't do anything without deciding, we're going to regulate all businesses. Which
I would say the government
that's communism.
I would suggest that the government could buy Twitter, but I don't think the government can afford that.
The government doesn't need something like that. I mean, seriously.
I mean, anything to get it out of Musk's hands.
That's not going to happen. It's going to get out of his hands when he kills it off because he's an idiot,
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get the extremists that go on there because, it's going to be a situation of he'll promote their bullshit until somebody else points out that, hey, you really shouldn't do that. And then, oh, no, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. We won't tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Elon Musk thinks it's funny. And then they'll tolerate it all they want. But, he's just a real moron.
He is.
And it kind of proves it even more because, like I said, I believe within 2 days, 6 of the top 10 advertisers pulled out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I believe it's been even more since then, but,
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, they've got a business to protect, and, they're not going to tolerate crap like that.
Yep.
But, oh well. So, that's all we'll say about Elon right now.
For now.
Yeah.
Until next week when we talk about the next stupid thing he does.
Yeah. There was a podcast I listened to once. They had this thing, how long since the latest OnePlus blunder? Maybe we should keep track. How long between Elon Musk blunders?
0 days.
Yeah. It'd be hard to keep up with it. Oh, well. All right, so next up on the list is your topic. What do you got?
So, on Saturday, you were making pizza. I, your other child, and our mother were watching TV. And it's a commercial break, so I'm not really paying attention. Then I hear 24 hours of Christmas Vacation. and also 24 hours of Elf. And in previous years, I've seen things for 24 hours of A Christmas Story. And I'm like, why the hell would you play the same movie over and over again for 24 hours straight?
Yeah, it's because people will watch it, and of course if people are watching, that means you get advertising dollars, and that's all they care about.
I mean, I understand it with a TV show, especially a longer running one, because you have different stories to tell.
Yeah.
But it's the same story over and over. Don't you think people would just view it once and then not tune in to the channel for the rest of the day?
No. There's people that'll turn it on and just leave it on in the background, They'll sit there scrolling through X and Facebook and whatever else, not even really paying attention to the television, It happens, and I mean, this kind of thing has been done for a very long time. It's
and the 3 movies that were advertised as being 24 hours straight, that tells you that those are the most overplayed Christmas movies. Now, don't get me wrong. I love all 3 of these movies. A Christmas Story is my second favorite Christmas movie, behind The Polar Express. But A Christmas Story is easily the most overplayed Christmas movie of all time.
Yeah, it's very much overplayed, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also got a huge cult following. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's a huge following for that movie.
I wouldn't even call it a cult following anymore. I'd call it mainstream.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
maybe
there's still
15 years ago, I'd call it a cult following, but not now.
Well, generally speaking, the term cult following, as far as I know, pretty much refers to the fact that critics don't like it. I think, I mean, I don't think critics ever actually liked A Christmas Story, but...
Well, if we're going on whether critics liked it or not, that means Hook's a cult classic. And that one is pretty much universally loved by audiences.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong as to what's termed a cult following and whatnot, but, it was never a mainstream movie. It did not do all that great in the box office, I don't believe.
Nope.
So I don't know. I mean, they're good movies, and the reason they do it is because there are people who will watch them all day.
I think those people, I hope they're okay, because I do not understand how you can watch the same movie twice in a row, let alone for 24 hours straight.
I don't know. I mean, some people just, they look at it as, well, it's a really good movie. And these television stations are looking at it along the lines of, okay, well, we put it on for 24 hours straight. You know what day it's going to be on that 24 hours. You can figure out a time when you're going to watch it. And that way, you don't get people who say, well, I missed half the movie. Well, you missed half the movie, then just wait a half an hour. Or actually, wait an hour and a half, because they take that hour and a half long movie and make it an hour and a half long. Like,
they take that hour and a half long movie and make it like
3 hours.
2.5 hours, maybe.
No, it's usually
maybe 3.
If it's actually an hour and a half, if it's anything between an hour and a half and 2 hours, they'll push it out to 3 hours or something. I mean, they can have, what is it? It's there's a limit to the amount of advertisements they can have in there.
I did not know that.
I think it's.
I wonder if the same applies to sports broadcasts. Asking for a friend.
Yeah, no, it's
definitely not asking this from the perspective of a NASCAR fan who's tired of constant commercials and less racing.
Yeah, it's limits on television in general, and I don't remember what it is. It's actually kind of ridiculous. It's like 10 or 15 minutes for every hour. To me, that's just nuts. Yeah.
Of
course, if these stations had their choice, they'd run, they'd take an hour and a half long movie and make it 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
But at some place where the FCC, I think it's the FCC, stepped in and
probably the FCC.
Kind of put a limit to it. And it's also part of the reason that you don't see, like, you'll get product placement in there.
Of course.
But it used to be...
I mean, most movies have product placement of some sort.
Well, yeah, but now it's not... It used to be where, look at this, I really love this can of beans. The can of beans would be right in your face with the label, the brand. Where now it's just something that's kind of off the side and in the background.
Yep.
So
Or it's a throwaway line.
Yeah, I mean, it might be, we're going to
have... Like in the Garfield movie where Garfield asks if they're going to Pizza Hut or something like that.
Yeah. Either that or it'll be, we're going to have beans for dinner with dinner tonight. And then, you know...
It happens to be like bushes.
Yeah, off in the background you'll see the can, but they won't be holding it up, or while they're pouring the can into the pan, you're not going to be able to see the brand.
Yep.
It's only off in the distance, you know, so...
It's not going to be like Wayne's World where he's holding up the pizza box while he's eating the slice.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's a lot different than it used to be. And, you know, part of that's because the FCC has cracked down on it. Because not only could they have advertisements, but then they'd have product placement where the host is actually, you know, doing that, talking about it right in the show.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a lot different than it was, but to me, there's still just way too much, you know?
Yep.
But, oh well. But yeah, with those movies, I mean, it really started when the number of channels started climbing, you know?
Because back in the day, you only had 3.
Well, no, I'm talking...
That was on a good day.
Yeah, no, I'm talking, you know, around 2000 or so is when I think it started up. And it's because you had so many choices.
Around 2000 was when it climbed into the quadruple digits.
Yeah. No, I mean,
because of all the repeats like ESPN2 and ESPN News and
yeah.
And
yeah, and then all the regional channels that are all actually owned by ESPN. And yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it just got to be so that there was so much choice that, you know, like I said, they figure, well, somebody might not be able to watch it when we were planning on showing it. So if we show it for 24 hours, they can figure out a time that works for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they know that the whole day it's going to be running that. So
yeah.
And if they don't want to watch it, they can watch another television show.
Yeah.
You know, and of course you have...
Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you. You have, you know, these big conglomerate stations. I mean, you know, I think what you're talking about is on TBS or something like that.
Yes, that's TBS.
Yeah, they own other stations, so it's not like they're going to lose anything by doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, they've also got to compete with the 1001 different versions of the same thing on Hallmark for 2.5 months. Yeah.
Or Freeform's 25 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
Once that starts up in a couple days.
Yeah, it's just, there's so much choice, you know, and some of it's also that, you know, there aren't any really new stories coming out.
No, not really. It's just rehash the old stuff.
Yeah. You know, I mean...
There are plenty of old stories which I'm surprised have not been rehashed yet.
Yeah, some of it has to do with, would have to do with copyright and the original studio not releasing rights to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it just has to do with people don't think they could redo it very well.
Although in many cases, it's the original studio themselves doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, and every time I see something come out that is a remake or a prequel to a classic movie, all I can think is, wow, it's a good thing those writers went on strike and you gave them more money.
Yep.
You know? Give them more money to just change the dialogue in something that's already been popular. I mean, come on.
And put out and hire an all-new cast.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
none of which fit in their roles.
Yeah, I mean, somebody said something once about them redoing Wonka, you know? And I'm like...
One example of...
I said, it was a post on Facebook. I said, they can't really redo it, and the remakes are never all that good because
they did redo it once.
Oh yeah, but the remakes
Tim Burton did it.
The remakes aren't nearly as good because you can't replace Gene Wilder. He defined
not
that
even
role.
Johnny Depp could do it.
He defined that role, and that's all there is to it.
Although, according to many things I've read, the Tim Burton version was more accurate to the book.
It doesn't matter what's accurate to the book.
And Roald Dahl hated the original movie because of that.
I don't know. I mean,
this new one looks somewhere in between the two versions that are already out, so...
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's why movie sales are so low. It's why they're so crappy. It's why you've got somebody like Taylor Swift and Beyonce making millions of dollars by, having theaters show their concert tour. It's because there's no new stories being created. It's utterly ridiculous. But all right, so I think
there are only a few types of stories that you can make.
Well, it all depends on your imagination. I mean, you can do anything with science fiction, especially with CGI.
Oh, yeah.
George Lucas would have done things totally different with the Star Wars series. He wouldn't have started with the ones in the middle. The problem was the ones in the middle were cheapest.
If he had CGI, then boy, would we have gotten something.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some of the, how they did some of the effects, and it's like, holy crap.
You would have went nuts.
Yeah. But the biggest problem is sometimes they just go overboard with CGI.
Heck, if the prequels got a better reception, 7, 8, and 9 would have been nuts.
Yeah, I mean, a part of the problem was that they did the prequels so long after the original, the original 3. They did the prequels so long after
that there was too much hype, and
it's not so much that there was too much hype.
Nothing could. I think Episode 1 in particular did so poorly because nothing could have matched the fans' expectations.
Yeah.
After that amount of time.
Yeah, but
that's why Episode 7 did so much better. Because it was less time between that one and the last one.
I think the biggest problem there is with that is that you look at things in what's supposed to be the prequel, and there's stuff in there that seems more advanced than the original series, the original 3.
Yeah.
So like in Episode 1, there's stuff in there that just looks so much more advanced than what's in Episode, Episode
4?
Yeah, Episode 4. And it's like, it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And they knew that they couldn't redo 4, 5, and 6. They just knew that. Because
they couldn't go back and completely redo it. They could go and edit the footage they had, which Lucas did.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he did that.
Times.
He did that, but that was also along the lines of saving the video itself because it was deteriorating.
Yep.
But what I mean is they couldn't take the guy who played Vader in 1, 2, and 3 and put him into 4, to start over again. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And
he did wear the suit at the end of 3, though. That actually was him in the suit.
Yeah. But, it just, the whole thing wouldn't work because people wouldn't go see it. They would have wasted their money. And, of course, now they can't do that, even though they probably want to. Because again, you'd be taking somebody who's, older.
I mean, the
In
prequel
4
actors
than
are,
he was in 7. Or, older than he was in 7. So they just can't really do it.
I mean, it'd be easiest for Lucasfilm to redo 7, 8, and 9 because they're the most recent ones. And the actors are only like 5 years older than they were in the last one.
Yeah, but they're not gonna redo those because those are fresh.
Mm-hmm. As much as they suck.
The problem is 4, 5, and 6 because he did them, and his intent was they were the cheapest to make, so he was going to do those.
The cheapest
and then
to make.
Shortly afterwards, he was going to do the
There wasn't much
others.
that he needed to do.
Yeah, shortly after he did those, he was going to do the others, but I don't know what happened and why he didn't. But he didn't, and I think that's what killed it. But alrighty, folks. So let's get on to another topic here.
What's this one?
And I'm going to skip down to the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're skipping one that, maybe we'll get to it, but we'll see. So, on the local news, they have this thing called Your Stories, where somebody can call in and, they'll do a little bit of investigating for you. And in this particular instance, this lady wrote in because she got a letter from the Postmaster General saying that her mailbox needed to be raised up because it was too low, because they got some new trucks that sit up higher. Mm-hmm. And, she was all upset about it and everything because, the letter states that they're going to stop delivering mail. Well, if you read the whole thing, which they basically did on the news, it stated that your mailbox is low and it causes the mail carrier to have to get out of their vehicle. Now, may not be
dangerous.
May not be a horrible thing in a city, but when you're talking about the suburbs, it's not like they go someplace, they go to a central place, get out of their truck, and then, go to the mailboxes and load them up all at once. No, you're talking about they're driving down the street and they're going between mailboxes that could be
stopping at the side of the road
away. Yeah. So, she's all upset about it and everything. And then the reporter, and this is what kills me. The reporter says, now luckily her, she's got this drawing of what they're going to do and everything. And he says, now luckily her husband is an engineer, so this isn't difficult to handle. I'm like, wait, you have to be an engineer to put up a mailbox? What the hell?
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Like, it's a freaking mailbox. You need it to be 48 inches high. It's got to be 48 inches high. Buy an 8-foot post, put 2 feet in the ground, and then you're good. I mean, come on, It's not hard. I'm like, you gotta. It's a good thing he's an engineer, huh? What's the neighbor gonna do? Is the neighbor got an engineer too, or are you renting your husband out? Like,
he bribes the husband with cookies.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! What the hell? Yeah, I had to put that one in there, because holy cow. Even your mother's go, why is it got to be an engineer?
I don't know. That does not make sense.
I mean, our mailbox is sitting up there. I'm not an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Our mailbox hasn't moved in, what the heck? I put it up, it's about 8 years now. It hasn't moved. I'm not an engineer.
Yep. How about that?
So, this mailbox that they're putting up, I mean, it's got to be fancy.
Yeah. Frou-frou.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, I was looking at the picture. I'm like, okay, So they're putting a post in, and then they're putting two supports out from that post to hold the beam that goes across. And the way that they're attaching the beam that goes across to the lower post is they're just using these things that you buy for roofing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, engineer, huh? Okay.
Engineer.
Oh, my.
Sounds like anybody can learn how to do that.
Yeah. So, that was quick. We'll hit this last one.
Okay.
I know we've talked about it in the past. Not this particular incident, but we've talked about it in the past. So, last week, there was a car near the Niagara Falls border crossing that actually went high speed and flew, exploded and whatnot, And they knew pretty quickly it was not terrorism or anything like that. But, the morning news had to talk about it with somebody who was standing in New York City. I'm like, okay, so you're going to have somebody outside talking about this. Why aren't they in Niagara Falls? I'm like, come on.
What the fuck does New York City have to do with this?
I have no idea. None whatsoever. But they had like a 15-minute spot where the lady was standing in New York City. I was like, holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well. So that was another quick one.
Yep.
All right, folks. I'm sure you heard that music starting up.
Good night.
We'll see you.